So, welcome back to the channel. I bought these little lights, wireless light bulb thing at like Burlington for like $7. Pretty sick. But I just figured, since I've already been out here in my car for a little bit, just sitting doing nothing, I figured I could make a video in here. Might as well. I haven't posted in a while. I don't know if this is gonna be the first one that I've posted back. That makes sense. I mean, it wasn't even that far of a gap compared to previously. But, you know, at like 9-10 days, I don't even know. You know, it's not ideal. I don't enjoy doing that. But it turns out that it ends up being that way every now and again. And I want to stop that trend. Because I like making videos. I feel like it makes me feel like I'm actually being productive. Because, like, technically it is productive or whatever to just, like, go to work and, you know, make money so you can pay your bills and stuff. But it's like, I feel like, for me, that's just, you know, that's just, like, the baseline. Especially because I only work part-time right now. That's just, like, I keep hearing noises and this thing is blinding my vision. I can't even see anything through the windshield. But anyways, I totally forgot what I was saying. I said that work just kind of feels like it's just the thing that I do. It's just the thing that happens, you know, that I gotta go and do. And like, I don't feel like the day is productive if all I did was go to work. Especially because I only work like 5-hour shifts usually, 5 or 6 hours, something like that. And so if all I did that day really was work, then there was maybe like anywhere from 5 to 10 hours where I did nothing of value. And that feels bad when that happens. And that happens quite a bit. Because I'll wake up, I'll still feel tired or whatever, or just I'll feel lazy, whatever it is. And I'll go back to sleep, and then I'll wake up again. And at that point, it'll have been like 12 hours since I initially fell asleep. And then maybe I'll watch YouTube, go to the restroom, make food, and then go to work, come back, maybe go to the gym after work sometimes, and then come back, watch YouTube, go to the restroom, and then go to sleep. And like, sure, I went to the gym, I went to work, that's something, but I feel like I want that to be the baseline, you know? If that is all that's happening, I don't necessarily feel productive. I feel like I've just hit the necessities. And then even outside of that, I didn't hit the necessities because there's like things like, you know, taking a shower, washing your face, brushing your teeth that sometimes I just end up not doing. And that is also bad. More reasons than one, you know? And I feel like I've been in a constant cycle for the past few years of like getting productive and doing all these things and making a routine, getting into habits, and then a couple weeks, a month, a couple days, I don't know, it just kind of all falls apart. And I go back to where I was. I was just barely managing to do the bare necessities most days and not much else. And, I don't want that to be my life. My ideal, like, lifestyle, I guess, would be making videos full time. And then, doing other creating on the side, pretty much. Oh, well, like ideal in the next like 5-year span or something like that. Because, at some point maybe it would switch, videos would become more of a part time thing, and other forms of creating would be my bigger focus. But at least in the short ish term, the videos will probably be the main thing. So, that's like the ideal lifestyle, I guess. The ideal career or whatever, but realistically, that's probably not going to happen for quite a while, I would say. I've technically been making videos now for like 7 years, 8 years, one of the two, 9 years maybe actually. Yeah, I think it was 9 years. 2016. Maybe it was 2017. I don't remember. 8 or 9 years, I think, I've been making videos. And I'm still not very successful at it, really. And that's mostly my fault for not really trying to actually dedicate myself to getting better at doing it and dedicate myself to just doing it consistently and, actually putting effort in over a long period of time on one channel, splitting it into 7 channels or however many I've made was definitely not the right move, but that's the way I did it, so it is what it is. But it's been a while and not much has came of it. And so realistically, for me at least, I don't imagine much is going to come in that short of a time period. Like, it's, of course, it's always possible, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it more possible, but I can't hinge everything on it becoming full-time career or job or whatever in like 6 months. I just can't do that. That's not realistic, and that wouldn't be wise. But that's like the idealized version of what it would be in the short term. But most likely, it'll look like how it does now, working a job and then doing it on the side. And hopefully at some point, maybe in the next year-ish, we'll be actually making money from this side of it, as well as the job, whatever that may be. But at this point, that's not there. And I think that makes it a little harder for me to be willing to stay dedicated to it, is because I'm not necessarily seeing a direct benefit from it at this point. And like, I know that it's all building up. You're building up the back catalog, you're growing your skills, you're growing your community, all that stuff. I get that. And that is a big driving force in continuing, as well as just the want to make things. But I think, I do enjoy ASMR. I like listening to it or watching it. I usually watch it, to be honest. I like making it. I like, just kind of exploring the world of noises, if you will. It's enjoyable for me. but I don't know that it's fully like what I want to be doing. Like, of course, that's the case for me, you know, because like I think I've talked about it a lot in other videos where I've rambled and stuff, that I want to start making more non-ASMR videos again. But I think, like, I think I honestly will always make ASMR videos, at least for a while, like the next 5 years or something, at least. But I think right now it's the main focus because it's the best channel I've ever had, you know. Which isn't the only reason. It's also like some of the easiest content I've ever made, if I'm being completely honest with you. Not in the sense that I have to put the least amount of thought or effort or care into it, but it just takes the least time, for me at least. Because there are some creators in the ASMR space that make freaking movies, and I imagine it takes a lot of hours to get those videos out, and maybe even a lot of people to get them out. But for me, a lot of the times, I'll just be like, okay, I need to upload a video. What am I going to do? Boom, that's what I'm going to do. Record it, or like set up for a little bit, record it, maybe edit it, fix the sound, cut out some parts that I don't want in the video, you know, trim the beginning, trim the end, call it a day. Pretty short timeline versus the videos that I've made in the past. It's like planning, you know, maybe even a little bit of like pre-production, writing or whatever, getting all the things I need to make the video, and then making it. Sometimes that's a multi-day long thing, you know, and then editing. Maybe I have to do like some voiceover or find some music or some B-roll or something. And then I go into editing it, and I'm not a very fast or efficient or skilled editor at this point. And so that always takes a while if I'm trying to do anything besides just cuts and adding little things in like music or whatever. So that ends up being a lot longer process than just making ASMR. And that is one of the bigger reasons that I continue to do ASMR, is because it's a lower barrier to entry, essentially. And I'm not just saying like I'm doing it because it's easy, but it's easy to do because it's easy. You know what I mean? And so, like, if I want to get back into doing variety videos at this point in time, it's like, okay, when is my next day off to record for 6 hours? And then whenever I can, try to fit in some editing, you know, learning as I go to try and make the video actually good. And then, you know, uploading it weeks after it was recorded or planned or whatever it is. And at this point, where I am not really in the groove, you can say, I don't really have a schedule as pertains to this stuff. You know, I haven't made a habit of working on this stuff. You know, I'm not super efficient. I don't have anyone on a team. I'm not making any money from it. Is that all of that piled on top of each other makes it harder for me to essentially justify in my head making those videos. And so it's easier for me to do that with ASMR because it just takes less time. And I do, you know, enjoy doing it. And it is the most successful channel I've ever had. You know, that's kind of that. You know, and I do like it. Of course. And I do want to continue doing it. And I do want to do it more because I haven't been doing it as much as I want to. But at this moment in time, it is my main focus. Not sole focus, but main focus. And I think it will remain that way for probably the next at least year or so, probably. But I think within that range, I'm going to start finally, at the very least, starting to do other projects as well. If not releasing things on those channels or wherever it may be. Like stuff you saw from that whiteboard video, those kind of things. Other channels, other projects, hopefully, will be hitting the ground at least in the next year. And so this might become more of a additional thing rather than the thing, you know? And I think I'll feel more fulfilled at that point, essentially. Because, I do like making these videos, and it does scratch that itch of making stuff. But I think, like sometimes I'll watch back my old, short films or whatever you want to call them. And, they're pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. They're not very good, But I'm like, damn, that was fun making that. The process of trying to figure out what shots to do and, where to get them and then how to put them all together with the music and the theme of the video or whatever it is, that was fun. That really made me feel like I was really making something. Even if the end product wasn't what I envisioned. It wasn't the quality that I would have liked it to be, It was still something that I made from just a little idea, And these are technically that too, but just in a more, I guess, raw form, and more of a smaller form. Not necessarily in terms of length, because most of those videos that I made are 3-4 minutes long, and these can get up to 2 hours. But it's I have an idea to do ASMR playing Balatro, and then I record myself playing Balatro, and then I post it. That's not really a process, essentially. But it's I'm gonna make attempt to make a short film series where I explore different obscure words that are out there, and then make a little short film thing to kind of explore what those words are, what they mean, how they could be applied to the real world in our lives. I don't friggin' know what the thing was, but it's essentially what it's supposed to be, at least. And then I would go and find a word and then try to make a video out of it, and then come up with shots and put them all together and find music and sound effects and all this. And it was much more of a creative process, right? I honestly don't know what the hell my train of thought is right now. I'm just kind of rambling, which I guess is what this is supposed to be, but I kind of thought I had a track I was following for a minute, and then it kind of just went all over the place, but whatever. So I think at this point, I feel a lack of that creative output, right? That I would like to be feeling, a lot more than I maybe was in years prior where I was actually making those kinds of things. Even though over the last 9 years or whatever, I've only made like 3 or 4 videos that have actually been like, that was cool. I enjoyed doing that. Outside of this. Because like within this channel, there's been like at least like 20 that I was like, that was cool. I like that. A lot of them are just like, hopefully it was okay, but I want to do less of those kinds of videos where it's just like me being like, oh, I need to upload, let me throw something together really fast. One, because they tend to perform way worse than the ones where I actually like think it through. And two, I enjoy them less because it's just like, what is something I can do quickly versus what is something I would like to make, essentially. And three, I think they just don't really feel like they fit, essentially, in the channel. Because I feel like, with ASMR, there's not really like a certain like vibe a channel may have because there's just so many different things going on. There's role plays, there's rambling videos, there's trigger assortments, there's experimental stuff, there's following trends, there's all these different kinds of things. Versus maybe if it's like a short film type channel, they all kind of have the same feel, or they're about a similar array of ideas and concepts. There's kind of like a theme throughout a channel. I mean, it's a science channel, and they, will go and talk to experts and see what the new happenings are in the world. Or maybe it's a channel, and they'll, go and review all the new tech that they find, and we'll talk about it from a technical perspective and their expertise. Or maybe it's like a crafts channel and they try to, make and share with other people their DIY journey of learning craftsmanship and making things that they, would like to have in their life, and they create them and all that. There's kind of like a theme. And with ASMR, I think there's less of that. It's just, there's an ASMR channel. Maybe they lean heavily towards fast ASMR, or maybe they lean heavily towards more lo-fi ASMR, or like cinematic style ASMR. But there's less of that. And for mine, there is still less of that, There's not really like a big theme. But I think the videos that I end up putting more thought into, more care into, more time into, end up feeling more like they're my videos. Like they fit into the kind of vibe the channel has accumulated over the years versus the ones that I just kind of throw together to upload a video. They kind of have less of that feel, which I think makes sense because it's like it has less of my creative input, I guess, because it's just like, what is something I can do? Boom, there it is. Versus, what is something I want to do, and how can I make it something that is, less common in the space right now, or whatever it is. Those will feel more like me, I guess. And so those tend to be more fulfilling or enjoyable for me. And I feel like lately I've been lacking that fulfillment and maybe enjoyment in life generally, but mostly relating to creating stuff. And most of that is just because I haven't been creating as much. But I feel like even when I do make something, it tends to lack that a bit just because it is kind of thrown together. Because it's like I will procrastinate and then be like, I need to upload, and then boom, it's just a whatever video. Like more recently, I tried to still be like, okay, I haven't uploaded in a while, but I'm gonna try not to make a throwaway video, and I'm gonna try to just upload something that I think will be cool. And the last couple videos have been that. You know, the last one I liked a lot, the like fisheye lens thing, and it performed well for my channel. But like 2 videos ago, the whiteboard one, was it that one? I can't remember. The whiteboard one was kind of a throwaway video, but like I still enjoy that because I enjoy doing like these rambling kind of videos because it just like feels like I'm journaling essentially, but just making it into content as well, which is like 2 birds, 1 stone, you know. But that one was kind of like just a random thing. Like that was not planned out any more than like an hour before it happened. And same with this one, but I think with this one and like the New Year's Ramble or whatever video, they still feel like me, I guess, and they're still enjoyable, and they tend to also perform a little better. Like the other one didn't get like an insane amount of views, but it has like one of the highest amount of watch time of any video on the channel, if not the highest. And like I don't know how this one's gonna perform, but I don't imagine it's gonna flop, just because I feel like people like to. It'd be parasocial essentially, but like they like to hear more about people's brains and lives, because you know they have all their thoughts and you know ideas and goals and desires and I can't think of any word to describe like quarrels besides quarrels, their own struggles, you know, all that stuff. And so I think it's a human want or need, even maybe, to be able to share those things with other people, even if it's not directly like having a conversation. Just hearing someone else say things that maybe you're also feeling is just, you know, it's nice. It's like validating in a way to be like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this experience. I'm not the only one thinking these things, you know, or maybe it's, hey, I guess I'm not that bad, right? Or, you know, maybe it's now I have something to kind of take inspiration from and try to aim towards getting to that point, right? And so there's always kind of something that you could take away from these kind of videos. Not even just like mine, just anyone that's just talking about their life and their brain and their thoughts. I feel like there's always something that you can kind of take from that for yourself. And so I feel like that's why these kind of videos do good. And I think part of the reason I like making them is because they do good. But it's also like I said, they also help me to be able to organize my thoughts more, of being less like, oh, I'm sad, oh, I'm unfulfilled, oh, I'm depressed, or whatever it is. You know, it's like now I'm like, okay, well, why do I think I'm feeling that? Why, you know, is that how my brain is working right now? Why is that what I'm thinking? Why, or like, how should I go about trying to get out of this? You know, like it just kind of, it's good for me to kind of talk it out or write it out or whatever it is, to just put it out into the world so that I can kind of understand it better than if it's just in my head. Again, I have no idea where the tracks have gone. I'm miles and miles from the tracks. Just rummaging in the dirt. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like I do, but I don't. Like I have no idea where to go from here now. But essentially, there's hopefully going to be a switch of, one, in my personal life, just trying to be, I don't want to say more productive, because that kind of feels like, I don't know, I feel like the word productive is kind of tainted these days, all the productivity experts and stuff, like, oh, you're trying to maximize every hour of the day, no wasted time or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, that feels like it could be an unhealthy thing to try and be productive. But, like, it is productive. Essentially, just trying to do more things. But it's more so specifically trying to feel more fulfilled, trying to fill that creative urge more in the coming months and years and onward. But also just trying to feel better as a person, feel better about myself, feel better physically, mentally, all that stuff. So I gotta put in the effort, I gotta wake up when I want to wake up, and then get up, make my bed, wash my face, brush my teeth, make some food, plan the day, and then just do those things, and make that consistent, and make it a habit, and make it a routine, loosely, probably, because I don't think I would like a super rigid daily routine, but yeah, I've been saying I'm gonna try and work on myself and work on things more for years. For years, I've been saying that to myself and in videos and to others. And I really haven't. I'm still at a similar place I was when I graduated high school, or maybe like a year after graduating high school, which was now like 3 years ago or something like that. And of course, it's like, I've gained life experiences and job skills and grown past relationships and started new ones and come out of my shell more and, found out more about myself and how I view the world and, narrowed down the vision of what I want to do with my life and all that stuff. That's all happened, But there's still a lot of missing pieces in the puzzle of me, There's still a lot of things that I want to do. There's a lot of things that I want to improve. And I haven't been consistently chipping away at those things for a while. And I feel like the urge is just getting stronger by the day. And it's starting again, because it's hit this point many times before. And it always does lead to change, but it never sticks. But this time I feel like it has to, because there's more, I don't want to say at stake, because it's never really that serious, to be honest. But I don't know. I feel like I'm 21. I'm, doing more things, and I've moved further in my life than I ever have been in the past. And yet, on the personal side, I'm at a very similar point to where I was 5 years ago or whatever it is. And I feel like I kind of needed to catch up to not necessarily where I should be, because everyone moves at their own pace. Everyone's life is going to look different, and you can't compare yourself to where someone else is at the same time, because that's just not how life is. It just doesn't work like that, and it's not healthy to do that. And so it's not like trying to catch up to my peers. It's more like trying to catch up to where I foresaw myself being, at this point. Trying to catch up to where I want to be in this stage of my life. And just trying to be better for the people around me, and for myself. And for my future self, I guess. And so it's just gotta happen. I've just gotta make it happen. And I guess this is I don't know what this is. This is just a video of me rambling for 40 minutes. But this will be another thing that will hopefully I'll be able to look back on it and hold myself accountable to the things I said I was gonna do, which, again, there's been a lot of that. A lot of writing down goals, a lot of putting it out into the world, and then a lot of not doing it. And so hopefully that cycle breaks today. And it'll probably not be perfect. Of course not. It probably won't have a daily streak that'll go on to the end of time. I'll probably have days where I do absolutely nothing. And I'll probably have moments where I feel like I'm backtracking and I feel like I'm messing up or making mistakes or wasting my time or whatever it may be. And that's just part of life. That's just how it's going to go. That's just the journey of trying to be better, We're humans and we're all going to mess up and fall short. And that's just the way it is. And all we can do is hope to get up the next day and be better. So that's what I'm going to do. And so you will be seeing more videos. And hopefully soon, news about other things, not on this channel. But I think I should go inside now because it's getting a little cold. And it is like 2 a.m. So, thanks for watching and listening to me ramble about myself for 40 minutes. Hope you got something out of it. I don't know if that's sleep, because I don't know how relaxing this was, but hopefully it was something. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. That'll hopefully, no, it will be soon. All right. See you later. forgot it does the flashing thing. And there's still light on me. Alright. Bye.